Hello. So, a lot of you have been seeing my pictures of various hot and cold beverages that I've been drinking, with a lot of them being whipped or with whipped cream. And I've had some people ask how I make it, if I can do a dairy-free version. So I thought I'd give a little tutorial on a hack that I found, that I figured out anyway. So I'm sure a lot of you probably have made homemade whipped cream at one time or another, and it's pretty much just whipping the cream. But you know, we usually get a bowl and we've got the double beaters and we beat it and we beat it, and I find that to be extremely messy. So when I was figuring out how to do whipped coffee, which is this new, well, I don't know how new it is, but whatever, it's new to me, where you mix a couple tablespoons of instant coffee with some sugar or sugar substitute and hot water, and you beat it, and then it whips up. So I figured out doing that in a mason jar is actually a really, really cool way of not making a mess. So I decided to try that with making whipped cream, and it worked out really nice. These are some of my favoriteest mason jars because they're not overly huge, but they're not small. So how I do this is I have a mason jar, I have my single whisk beater, and then I have my heavy whipping cream. This is my favorite heavy whipping cream. It's by Dean's. It's pure dairy, and the reason is because of the ingredients. So if you can see that, the ingredients on there are only heavy whipping cream. There is no Gillian gum, there's no carrageenan in it. It's literally just the cream off of milk. If I can't get my hands on this, I will use this brand from, and I get mine from Costco if I need to get it. But again, it does have more than just the cream. It has, let's see, right here. So it's got the cream and then the Gillian gum. So better choice than the ones with carrageenan in it. But anything that's organic in the heavy whipping cream is going to be ultra pasteurized. So whereas because this is not ultra pasteurized. So anyway, basically when you take the cream from the milk, then you're left with the skim milk, you know, straight from the cow. So what you're doing is you're just mixing this up so that it coagulates and aerates and gets nice and thick. So this is pretty easy. The nice thing about making your own too is you can flavor it however you want. So I'm going to do about 3 ounces. You can do more, you can do less, doesn't matter. I like to flavor mine. You can either just whip it just like that and just have unflavored, and that's totally fine. You can use a powdered sweetener, and that's okay. I prefer not to do that. You can flavor with extracts. So whatever, there's so many different extracts. So you could have peppermint or chocolate, or this one I just happened to grab was raspberry, so you can have raspberry. It's not going to be sweet because these are not sweet, but you could do this with a little bit of this. The thing is, you don't want to introduce too much liquid to it, or it's not gonna whip right. So one of my favorites to do is English toffee, and these are sweet leaf drops from they're stevia drops from Sweet Leaf, and this is a organic English toffee. So it has the sweetener and the flavoring all in one, so then I'm not going to add too much liquid. Another one is chocolate. That also comes in just vanilla. I mean, there's a lot of different flavors. But I'm going to do some English toffee. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to do some chocolate. So, and you don't need a lot because this is extra potent. So that was probably about 10 drops. And then what you're going to do is you are just going to, see this? Yeah. You're just going to whisk this up. It does take a few minutes. But it's super easy. And it's already starting to get thicker. And you'll see this is going to go up in volume as well. Now the one thing is, if you beat it too long, it will start to get stiff and hard instead of creamy. And you basically got butter. So that's what butter is, really. It's just a churned cream. And that's it. I'm done. So now we went from 2.5 ounces of heavy whipping cream to about 4 ounces. You can see it actually doubled. And if you can see in there, it's super nice and creamy. Looks just like Cool Whip. So it's not, if I were to keep going, it would get really stiff like a butter. Now, if you don't have one of these beaters, you could probably, I haven't done it, and it would probably take a little bit longer, but you could probably get a battery operated frother, and that would work as well. The other thing that I haven't tried, but you totally could, my kids have made butter using cream straight from raw cream from a cow. They did it as a in one of their co-op classes one time, and they just kept shaking the jar. So you could totally do that. It's just about getting it to coagulate. It's such a fun word, coagulate. So that's really all that it is. And they kept doing it until it literally became butter. Now, what if you're dairy-free? If you're dairy-free, you can use full-fat canned coconut milk. You do not want it to say light or thin or anything like that. I have this one. I know it's upside down, but it's because I opened it already. So this is my favorite because I can get it at Costco fairly reasonable. It's like $9 for a 6-pack. This is Thai Kitchen Organic. And again, I really like the organic because it's just I don't have to worry about anything being added to it. But this is unsweetened and it's canned. So what I do, not so much in the winter, but when it starts warming up, because it gets a little warm in my house, I put this in the fridge if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to need it for like whipping anything. And the reason is because then the cream will rise to the top and separate from the water. So as you can see, then you tip it upside down and open it from the bottom so you can drain off the water. As you can see, that's all the water. Now this is coconut water, but it's not the sweet kind of coconut water that you might buy in like a carton at the store. That is full of sugar. This is not. This whole can has very little carbohydrate in it at all. Whatever carbohydrate it does have just is natural from the coconut. So what I do, and I have not made this in this method yet, so we're going to experiment together right here on Facebook. All right, so there's the water, and what's left is the coconut cream. So it's already firm. So again, I don't know if this is going to work because usually when I do this, because you see how stiff this is already, I use the double beater. So I guess we're going to experiment and see. I didn't want to I wanted to have some surprises and not have done everything. So we're just going to add back a little bit of that water. Normally you'd have a clean blender. And it is working really nice. I didn't flavor this, but you could definitely, do that. that turned out really, really nice. So if you can see in the jar, it's a nice fluffy texture. So it's a nice fluffy texture. And now, as you can see, you saw how hard it was when I took it out of the jar. I did add a little bit of the water but look how fluffy that is. That's so good. So there's a really nice dairy-free option if you want whipped cream. It's low carb, ketogenic friendly, and is great for your pies, your hot chocolates, putting it on coffee, on top of iced coffee. My kids like to actually make whipped cream and just have that for dessert, but it'd be lovely over some berries or, you know, fruit. Really, the sky is the limit, but it's super easy to make. So you literally take a couple of minutes and then you have some fresh whipped cream. You don't have to dirty a bowl. If you're not going to use it all, you can stick a lid on it and put it right in the fridge. So this really helps limit the dishes. And yeah, so that's how I make my whipped cream. And that is also how I do, if I'm doing the whipped coffee, I make it in the mason jar as well, just because you're starting out with such a small amount of water and coffee that to do it in a bowl with the double beaters is I found to be really messy. Yeah, so the main thing is just don't get too much liquid in so that because otherwise it won't coagulate correctly, and flavor it or don't flavor it. The other thing you can do, if you've seen like the flavored coffees or flavored creamers and stuff like hazelnut and all of that, you could literally just either flavor some heavy whipping cream or a mixture of like a nut milk and heavy whipping cream. Just flavor that in like a mason jar and just leave it sit in the fridge, and then you've got flavored cream whenever you want it for your coffee if you're not into like fluffing up everything. So I hope that helped. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it, and it was just kind of a fun video I wanted to do on a Saturday afternoon after a crazy week at the tax office. So have a great afternoon. I'm actually going to go make an iced coffee and use one of my whipped creams that I made. Bye.